I'd like to make a brief video today on an interesting, vaguely horror title I have viewed titled Baba Yaga, an Italian production released in 1973 and directed by one Corrado Farina. Speaking of the horror genre, do explore the YouTube channel Horrorgang. If you're so inclined toward the genre, you'll find plenty to entertain yourself, so do give that a look. This film strikes me as reminiscent of the Giallo bracket, although it is more overtly supernatural than your average Giallo. Carol Baker was certainly no stranger to that genre, and here she portrays the titular Baba Yaga. You would have also noticed our friend George Eastman's name in the opening credits. Eastman would be a regular of Italian genre exploitation throughout the 1980s, much remembered for his role in 1980s Anthropophagus, which we once discussed on this program. The film's protagonist is named Valentina, portrayed by one Isabel de Funes, a young, hip professional photographer who makes an acquaintance of the titular Baba Yaga. She first meets the Baba Yaga after the Baba Yaga offers to drive her, Valentina, home one night. The Baba Yaga's interest in Valentina is quite peculiar. Not to spoil anything, but, well, I did suggest that this film was of the supernatural horror bend. This film was actually an adaptation of a comic book series titled Valentina, created by one Guido Crepax. Director Farina was apparently determined to replicate the grammar and dynamism of comic books within a finished feature film. He felt as though previous attempts had not been up to the task. Sorry Lenzi, sorry Bava. As you can see, this film is phenomenally stylish, which lends itself to Giallo comparisons, as does its eroticism, although this feature was apparently a major staple of the comic book as well. It's interesting to think about, then, this film's aesthetics within the context of that particular medium. This is a pretty unique artistic tangent among 70s genre cinema. I mean, given its considered attempt to replicate the design of comic book panels. In the 21st century, during the digital age, this might be seen as gimmicky, and could certainly be. But at this time in history, 1973, I found it rather distinctive. As you can probably tell by these screen caps, this is a pretty interesting little film, certainly when it comes to its aesthetics. I'm glad I viewed it. I was interested in doing so due to its era of release, its prospective genre, and most especially for its title, Baba Yaga. There's some extremely interesting mythology behind that if you'd like to cure your imagination some. I first became familiar with the Baba Yaga as the cover of a Tashi book, and then later I read a comic book wherein Hellboy shot its eye out. And speaking of Hellboy, well, next video. Have a great one.